Good morning, second grade. Miss Fogelman here today for your reading lesson. Let me share my screen and we can get started. We have been talking about fables and folktales, and today our learning target is I can read a folktale and identify the moral or lesson. Here is our connection. What is a folktale?
What is a folktale? Folktales are stories passed down from generation to generation, like fables with talking animals, fairy tales with magic, tall tales with huge exaggerations. Even scary stories are considered folk tales. Oh, and legends about historical figures, sometimes involving magical dragon tales, myths about people with supernatural power, and superhero stories are folk tales too. Don't forget about those Hobbit adventure tales. I think I'm getting it. But what about folklore? Oh, folklore. That's the beliefs and customs of a group of people. So folk tales are just one type of folklore. Does that make sense? Yes, complete sense. Now, if only I could get rid of this pesky mosquito.
Okay, so
what is a folktale?
Miss Fogelman needs to get past this slide. There we go. Okay, so that gives you a little bit of an idea of what a folktale is. It is a story that has been passed down orally from generation to generation or from family member to family member. Remember, folktales and fables are similar. Folktales may have humans as characters, whereas fables have animals that have human characteristics. Remember the characteristics of a folktale. The characters may be people or animals, and the animals may have human characteristics. The story has often been told and retold orally. Folktales may contain a lesson or explain something about nature. A folktale reflects the customs or beliefs of the people. That's what the vampire was talking about in the video. It's folklore has to do with the customs and beliefs of the people. So a folk tale is a type of folklore. And a folk tale is a fiction story that comes from a specific country or culture. Today we're going to watch Stone Soup.
Little Fox. Stone Soup. Many years ago, England was going through hard times. Some villages were very poor, but everyone still needed to eat and laugh. This is a story about how strangers become friends.
I say, Stanley, this looks like a good spot.
Righto, Morris. We'll stop here for the evening.
Shall we start making the soup?
A fine idea. I'll get the water and a stone.
Morris and Stanley were on their way to London. They were travelling on foot. Along the way, Morris and Stanley stopped at villages. Each time, they made stone soup.
Morris, old pal, here's the water.
Smells delicious.
And here's a stone.
That's a fine one, Stanley. Our soup will be very tasty tonight.
Just then, Mrs. Tweedy from the village and her son, Wilbert, walked by. They were returning from the market.
Good day, madam.
Good day, gentlemen.
Would you care to join us for some soup?
Oh, yes, please. Wilbert, we must get home and prepare supper.
Wilbert, is that your name?
Yes, sir, it is.
Why, that boy with the three-legged cat was named Wilbert, too.
three-legged cat? What happened to its other leg?
Well, it was born with 4 legs, of course, but then...
Morris and Stanley told the story of the boy with the 3-legged cat. Even Wilbur's mother listened. Just then, Mr. Podger from the village walked by. He was carrying a loaf of bread.
And that's the story.
Is it true?
Is what true? What's going on here?
Oh, Mr. Podger, please come and meet Morris and Stanley.
Everyone said hello to each other.
Morris, is it just me or does Mr. Podger remind you of someone?
Yes, he reminds me of Otis and Oliver, the twin barbers.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Twin barbers? Where?
In Windermere, they're quite the barbers, Otis and Oliver, you see.
Mr. Podger sat down and listened to the story of the twin barbers. A few minutes later, Miss Mabel from the village walked by. She was carrying a bag of potatoes.
Good day, all. May I ask what you're doing here?
Miss Mabel, come and meet Morris and Stanley.
I say, Miss Mabel, what a splendid coat.
Why, thank you.
It looks like the one worn by Queen Francesca of Spain.
Indeed, we met her in Chester.
A coat like mine on a queen? Do tell all.
So, Morris and Stanley told the story of the Spanish Queen. Everyone laughed. They had a great time talking with the strangers. Before long, it was getting dark.
Thank you for a lovely time.
I haven't laughed so much in ages.
Oh, I hope your soup is not ruined. Why is there a stone in the soup?
Because it's stone soup.
That doesn't sound very tasty.
It's actually quite good.
Last night it tasted of turnips.
And the night before, it tasted of peas.
Now, the villagers did not think stone soup could be tasty. They looked at each other and wondered.
Oh, yes, this is very tasty. What do you think, Stanley?
Delicious, but I think it needs just a little extra something.
I have some carrots and onions here. Let's put them in the soup. I have some potatoes. In they go.
And I've got fresh bread, just the thing to have with soup.
Stanley and Morris took turns stirring the pot. Soon, the stone soup turned into a hearty vegetable soup.
The best I've ever tasted. Help yourselves.
Delicious, which reminds me of another story.
So, Morris told them another funny story. Everyone ate and laughed. It was a wonderful evening.
You must come and stay the night at my house.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Morris and Stanley left the next morning. But the villagers never forgot the two men. They often talked about how Morris and Stanley made them laugh. And everyone remembered their wonderfully delicious stone soup. The people of this town had been strangers, but now they were friends. The end.
Little Fox.
Okay, so let's talk about the story. What happened in the beginning of the story? In the beginning, Morris and Stanley were traveling to different villages. Each time they stopped, they made stone soup. In the middle, More and more people came together to all bring ingredients. The strangers quickly became friends. The strangers told stories and shared laughs. In the end, the strangers became friends. They had all learned that it is important to share with others. So, of course, had the people of the town not shared the vegetables and the potatoes and the bread with the strangers, stone soup or soup with just with a stone in it would not have been very tasty. But because the strangers offered to share their food with these two men, the soup became delicious. So what did the main characters learn? The main characters learned the importance of sharing with others. They all came together as strangers, but left as friends who shared a great meal. The lesson is to share with others. In Shobi, there is a Google form on this story. If you need to, please come back and watch the video again. Have a good day.